G'day, just lose your mind.
And like Emily said, if you guys have friends that you'd like to harass into coming on, they can still join in the next week, basically. Hello, Colorado. I used to live there sometimes.
Now you live in a suitcase?
Exactly.
I was just a little further north of you. I'm in Loveland.
People look at me so strange when I have 6 suitcases, you know? They freak out.
Right? When you come to the airport with stacks of them.
Now, the train station in France, that was not kind.
No.
Emily and I both had to go to the same train station. You go in there, and getting off the train is easy, but when you leave the train, like when you leave the town, you have to go down a set of stairs, like 4 sets of stairs, and then up another 4 sets of stairs with all of your luggage to make sure you can catch the train.
It was truly like National Lampoon's Vacation. It was really entertaining.
And there are people rushing past you, like, you know, grunting at how stupid you could be to have so much luggage.
That was great.
Yeah. Good thing they sell wine at the train station as well.
Oh, I didn't find that.
You're becoming Australian, Megan.
Get saved by wine. How did you get so lucky?
They got saved by wine. They were saved that I drank it before the suitcase fiasco.
That's correct. They got saved. Yes.
Otherwise, I may have thrown suitcases at them.
The note to everyone, if Megan is around you being grumpy, serve her wine.
Exactly. It makes everything helps you lose your mind, apparently.
I am very excited about this call today.
Me too.
All of the different tools that have shown up. It's like, yes, let's do this.
And I loved your call today, Simone. The way you talked about it all was so cool.
Which one? Getting out of debt.
Oh, getting out of debt. I've been in a plane, so I haven't listened to your other calls.
It's one of like the 5 today.
Zoomed out.
So yes, Dr. Dane should be on soon. Anyone else want to say hi? Oh, he's on. He's hiding.
I want to say that you can still sign up for 9 Trainees live stream if you want to come, or still come to the class. There is still time.
It's Humanoid O'Clock.
Exactly.
Most of you should know because you signed up for this telecall at Humanoid O'Clock.
Exactly. I love someone messaged me an hour before. When's the call? I still want to sign up. I was like, I love humanoids.
Hi, guys.
I want to say pick the people who are in Europe, it's wine o'clock, and pick the people who are in Australia, and it's coffee o'clock. Sarah, Victor, Lauren.
It's only because they don't have the courage to start their day with a glass of wine.
Exactly, Dane. If they were willing to lose their mind, they might have a different point of view.
Exactly. Hello. Oh, hi. Hi. How y'all doing? Nice to see y'all. And Simone, I love following your call with my call. I think it's awesome.
Thanks, Dr. Dane.
Great.
Me too.
So any other housekeeping, or shall I go?
I think we're good. Emily, you good? She's on mute.
Good.
I'm good. I'm quiet.
Thumbs up. I was doing thumbs up.
I'm quiet, but I'm good. And here are my thumbs to prove it. Okay. Hold on one sec. I'm just closing a few windows on my computer because we all know how the computer works. Okay. So we got 4 questions. Now, I gotta say, I'm gonna just check this out. You just take a journey with me into my world for just a moment. We have this call called Lose Your Mind, right? You're all on it, I think, as a matter of fact. Am I back, by the way? Wait, hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Oh, I'm gonna close Safari. If you lose me, I'll call back in, but I don't think that's how Zoom works. Okay, good. Let me just show you how the mind works, okay? Are you ready? I'm gonna give you a perfect example right here with 2 questions that one person sent in. Here we go. What is the mind? I don't desire to lose my mind. I've got a pretty good one. And it seems to me it's a necessary part of the whole. For example, if I have more access to my awareness and my body knowing, then the mind comes in to be able to take those and know how to communicate with people and operate in this reality in a way to create what I'd like, doesn't it? The answer to that is fuck no. Your awareness does all of that. Your mind is a defining, limiting mechanism. Okay, your mind is a dangerous thing. Waste it. And I'll tell you how we got to the name for this telecall in just a moment. And if you'll notice, we did the invitation to this telecall a little bit different. We went, lose your mind. And then we put out a few things and y'all went, I want to do that. Yes, please. We didn't, I didn't make like a 12-minute video explaining it and whatever. Why? Because that's your mind. Instead, we wanted the people who were like, lose your mind. Fuck yes, it's time. So there's that. And she says, if I'm writing, that's the mind. No, actually, that's your being. If I'm speaking in front of people or coaching, yes, I'm aware of the energy, but it's mediated through the mind. Only when you're being limited in what you're presenting. She says, am I misidentifying something as mind that isn't? Yes, it's called you. And isn't there a way to use the mind to my advantage? Yes, if you don't use it, and have more available too. Yes. Now, here we go. Okay, you all heard that, right? That was in English and you all understood the question that I just asked, right? Yes, everybody? Yes? Yes? Okay, cool. Just making sure. Okay, because now let me read you question number 2 from the exact same person. And this is, consciousness is so beautiful. It is so amazing. Consciousness works in mysterious ways. This is fucking brilliant. Question number 2. I'm a bit stuck in figuring things out. Like, okay, I get it may not be the best option, but I don't get what else to do other than figure things out. Like, all I know is that to the point I'm even trying to figure out how to not figure things out. What else is there? I can ask a question and that puts me back to trying to figure out the answer or figure out the energy I'm getting from asking and then figuring out what to do based on the energy, based on what the energy is. And probably underlying even asking the question is trying to figure out what to do. So it's all still figuring things out. How do you get out of something that is so ingrained? It's like a fish in water and I can't even see it most of the time. Do you see what I just saw? Do you get what do you see what we're dealing with here? Welcome to my world, by the way. There's a reason I don't have a mind anymore, and it's because of you people. Thank you. And what the fuck? Okay? So this is something that I get to experience on a daily basis with people who are like, blah, 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 blah. This is so valuable. But how do I get out of it? Okay? So wow. I am so grateful for those 2 questions being together, because if anything has been a walk through the mind, that was just it. Okay. So, and it was funny because I read the first one first and I was like, wow, this woman is defending her mind like crazy. And then I read the next question she sent in and I went, and she hates it at the same time. Welcome to your mind. Your mind is a dangerous thing. Waste it. And the reason we say that is because in the US, there's been this commercial that everybody in the US knows. And it's usually on late night television. And it says, this is your mind. And it has 2 eggs there. And then right next to it is this sizzling frying pan. And they crack the eggs and put them in the frying pan and they're fried eggs. And it goes, this is your mind on drugs. Any questions? And I'm like, no, I got that one. I figured that one out. I'm good with that. But, and so, they say something else. Your mind is a wonderful thing, use it or something. So our point of view is your mind is a dangerous thing, waste it. But that's exactly what happens. And that's exactly how it works. Now, I need to give you a little bit of background on this so you can have 3 different things that you can utilize. Although you're going to use 2 of them, well, forget it. You'll use whatever you use. So what happened was we went to the 7-day event in Langkawi very recently, I think a month ago, less than a month ago. I have no idea of time anymore because that's a mind function and I'm just not interested very much. But so we recently did this 7-day event and it was going from problems to possibilities. And what became so clearly evident in that event was that we are using problems to define everything. And we are using our problems to limit everything. And we are using the idea that we have to have a problem to get to possibilities to mess up everything in our lives that could be so easily chosen. So what we realized in that event was that what happens is you have all defined that you need to solve the problem in order to create possibilities, as though solving problems is creation. Okay. Now this was huge, and I've been listening to that 7-day event again, and I got to say, Gary is so fucking brilliant in to a degree that I can't even begin to tell you still. But it's so far beyond this reality, so far beyond mind, and so far beyond problem that people think he's just the weirdest person they've ever met. And then 5 years later, they listen to what he said and they go, oh my God, it was true. But what he speaks about is so far beyond people's minds that their mind can't grasp it. Their mind can't define it. So their mind can't put it into a box. So they keep thinking he's crazy. And they go, oh, that'll never work. Why? Because their mind cannot figure out a way where what he is saying would actually work in this reality. Well, that's because he's not interested in functioning in this reality. How many of you have been functioning in this reality? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many of you created minds and artificial intelligence systems to function in this reality? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many of you have defined you as part of this reality when you're not? And how many artificial intelligence systems have you created to pretend that you are part of this reality so you can act normal, average, real, and the same as everybody else, even though you know you're not? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And how much fun are you refusing with the mind you are choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, I love it. Marcel puts in the chat, have we defined us as our mind? Says the one person who has definitely defined themselves as their mind. So everything you've done to define that you are your mind, and that your mind is more valuable than your being, your mind is more real than your being, and you can't really have a being here in this reality. You can only be a mind on legs, and you must function from artificial intelligences, definitions, and problems in order to exist. Will you destroy and create it, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond. And this is the interesting thing is, you have this idea that you have to function from your mind, which basically is an artificial intelligence system, and that you have to function from this artificial intelligence system in order to be here, except it's not really being, it's being through this reality's definitions and conclusions and everything it tells you that is not possible. And that if you didn't have that, you would have no connection to the matrix here. And if you didn't have a connection to the matrix, you would either float off into nothingness, or you would be so much space nobody could see you, or you'd be so happy nobody would understand you, or you'd be so creative nobody would want to be around you. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And somebody in the chat said, we've been taught to be proud of being smart based on our minds. Exactly that. And you have this idea that that is one of the greatest things that you can be, is smart based on your mind in this world, rather than aware beyond this reality, because the thing that most people define as smart is smart with facts and figures, smart with being able to compute things and calculate things. And there's a place for that, but all of that could actually come from your awareness and not have to be through your mind. So everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what have you decided is so valuable about your mind that you refuse to lose it, and instead would choose the limitations that it supplies in every moment? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I'm just going to open messages so I can actually see the processes, so I don't have to look at my phone. So what have you decided is so valuable about your mind that you refuse to lose it and instead choose the limitations it supplies in every moment as though they are yours? Everything that is times the godzillion way, destroyed and created, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew, that's got a bit of energy, my friends. I'm glad I added that last part. So what have you decided is so valuable about your mind that you refuse to lose it and instead choose the limitations it supplies in every moment as though they are yours? Everything that is times a godzillion way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what have you decided is so valuable about your mind that you refuse to lose it and instead choose the limitations it supplies in every moment as though they are yours? Everything that is times a godzillion way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, this is brilliant because what happens is your mind in every moment is supplying more limited points of view to you, more limited points of view, more limited points of view, more limited points of view, more limited points of view. It's why even when you have a totally expansive awareness of something that's possible, within about, I don't know, 3 minutes to 3 hours to 3 days, you're back to totally limited points of view, totally limited points of view, totally limited points of view, totally limited points of view. So everything you've done to decide that your mind is you, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I love that. My dad used to ask me, where's your head at? I thought it was a trick question. It was. Now, if you had asked him, where is your head at the same time, he would, if he were answering truthfully, he would have had to say, up my ass. Okay, anyway, that's a story for another time. And then the other thing on the chat is, without the mind, you're stupid. That's what this reality tells you. Actually, without the mind, you're brilliant. I mean, if you'd like to be brilliant to a level that Gary is, lose your mind. And for those of you who've never been in a class with Gary, you'll see what I'm talking about if you do, okay? Because there's a level of awareness that just is, that we keep thinking with our minds that we have to figure out how to get to. The only thing we really have to do to have that awareness is stop resisting the awareness and stop defining our world based on definition and based on trying to get back to this reality and its points of view. Everything that is times a godzillion way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what have you decided is so valuable about your mind that you refuse to lose it and instead choose the limitations it supplies in every moment as though they are yours and as though they are you? Everything that is times a godzillion way, destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So here we go, right? You were having this conversation, you go, oh my God, my mind is bad, my mind is wrong. No, your mind is something you created. Your mind is something that you have created over and over and over and keep adding energy to the creation of. You are the one adding the energy to the creation of your mind. Now, it would be wonderful to, hold on, my videos, I'm frozen. Not the first time. Frozen. Okay. Trying again. I am back. No, I'm not back. Oh my God, I'm gone. See, the powers that be don't want you to hear this vital conversation. It's the minds of the world trying to stop me from sharing this information. Maybe now I can just get naked. Okay, I don't have video anymore. Okay, hold on. Am I back? Nope. Nope, I'm like totally gone. That's awesome. How does it get any better than that? Well, let me see what to do. Hold a moment. How fun. See? And when you talk about the mind, this shit happens, man. Watch out, baby. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna see if maybe I can do a different camera because I have two. See if that works. It's not working either. Zoom doesn't like it. Oh well. Oh hey, how you doing? It worked. Nanny, nanny, nanny. They tried to stop us, but it didn't work. except I don't remember what I was saying. So here's this thing that you've done where you have made your mind more valuable than you. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to put this in place of me, and what everybody's going to see is this. And whenever it comes time to see me, I'm going to make sure that nobody sees me. How much energy have you spent making sure nobody sees you and that they only see and interact with your mind? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And also, how much awareness do you have of something different possible that you refuse to choose? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So let's see here. Seems like if I'm in my mind, I can't be present. That is true. You don't get to be present at all. Okay, so let me walk you a little more along the storyline of this. Okay, so we got that problem thing, and it was huge. And a lot of people went home and they were like, I don't know what to do without problems, because it was all about no longer having to have problems, right? So they started creating problems about not having problems, which of course was awesome. That was great. And then right after that, we went to the advanced body class in Costa Rica. And what we realized was that your mind is basically an artificial intelligence system. So we started asking how many AIs, which is short for artificial intelligence, how many AIs are you using to create the relationships you were choosing? How many AIs are you using to create the body problems you were choosing? How many AIs are you using to create the relationship, to create the limitation of money you were choosing? How many AIs are you using to create the depression you were choosing? How many AIs are you using to create the belief that you can't do it are you choosing? And I cannot tell you how dynamic that class was. And we were doing a COP there first. Gary was facilitating COP. I was doing sessions. I was doing ESCs. And and I can't tell you how dynamic it was, pot and pocking the AIs, the artificial intelligence systems that people were functioning from, and seeing how much change it created. And it also created this space where people had space. In other words, they didn't have to look around and define everything and every relationship with everyone in every moment. They just got to be around people. And it was really beautiful to see. And then the advanced body class came out, and after this COP with all these AIs being pocked and potted, and with this thing that I was able to do with people during the ESCs and during sessions, which I'll explain to you later or see if I can do with you later, it was like, whoa, there was this amazing space that got created. Because what happens is your mind is a defining element in relationship. What do I mean? Well, your mind defines how you're, like if you're in a room full of people, your mind calculates your distance with every single person in that room and how close you can be, how close you can't be, how much you can let your barriers down, how much fun you can have, how out of control you can be, how much you can like them, how much you have to be like this away from people. It's this computational mechanism that, once again, you're the one putting the energy into, but it's this computational mechanism that computes your distance from everything. Now, remember, we've said this in Access Consciousness for a very long time, that you can either have oneness in which, if, for example, you could be in a room full of people and you're just like, here I am, I'm everything I am. And whatever this person can receive, they can receive. And whatever they can't receive, they can't receive. But that's okay, I'm being all of me. Your mind is a relational computational organism, and relationship is the distance between two objects. So for example, what I mean is, it's like if you're here and I'm here, oneness would be, wow, we be. Okay, cool. Now what would we like to choose? What can we create? How much fun can we have? How joyous can this be? Relationship is, I'm here and you're here, and our relationship is defined by the points of separation that we have. Okay, relationship is defined by the points of separation that you create. And so it keeps you out of oneness. Anything you go into relationship with, you're out of oneness now. Now, oneness is this place of total allowance, total creation, total possibilities, total joy, total peace, And the greatness of two beings with bodies can show up when they're being oneness. If they're doing relationship, there's only so much greatness that can show up because you have to maintain a sense of relationship and relating to certain people. So think about I don't know, like the top 5 people in your life that you hate. That you just don't want to be around. You don't like those motherfuckers. They're motherfuckers, fucking fuckers. Okay? Now think about how many points of separation there are and points of distance there are between you. Okay? Whoa. There's a lot, right? And they're probably from all kinds of lifetimes and stuff they've done this lifetime, stuff you've done this lifetime, blah, 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 blah. Now, think about somebody you absolutely adore. When you get around them, it feels like your entire world melts. Where it feels like, wow. Are there less points of separation between the person you adore and the person you hate? Well, yeah, of course, right? Now, if you recognize that, that's closer to the oneness that is actually possible. That's closer to what's available if your mind were actually not involved in the conversation, if your mind were not involved in the energetic reality you try to create. So everything you've done to involve your mind in the energetic reality you try to create, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Somebody asked, do judgments come from the mind? Yes and no. But you got to realize you choose the judgments that you load your mind with to feed back to you at the appropriate time, which is part of the artificial intelligence that the mind is. And somebody said, our AI is something we create? Yes. Or something impelled at us? Yes. Can you speak more about what the AIs are? Is that my mind that's trying to understand it? Yes. Okay. Your mind is trying to understand this right now. Your artificial intelligence systems are trying to understand it because, okay, is that a turkey with Sashka? Is that a turkey?
It's a cat, Jane. It's a cat.
It's a cat? Oh, it's a cat's tail. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wonder that's the tail. Okay, got you. I wonder what your mind says if I say, why is Saskia patting her hairy pussy on video in front of all of us? What does your mind do with that? You know, your mind, just wondering. Okay, anyway. Everything that brought up, time, and if you didn't laugh, check your fucking pulse. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroyed it creatively. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay. That confused your mind. You're welcome. Okay. So if you realize that you basically create the judgments to load your mind with, what is the mind? It's an artificial intelligence system. And if you look at, you know, the big thing now on everything from iPhones to the latest computer technology to even editing photos is artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It's something that learns from you and then can make those choices for you in the future based on the choices you made in the past. So what you do is you're the one who created the artificial intelligence. You're the one feeding the artificial intelligence with the points of view that it should have. And guess how you're doing it? With your definitions. With your definitions of everyone and everything. Now, you hear that and you're like, definition? I mean, definition couldn't be that big, is it? Yes. We have said for a very long time in Access, definition by definition alone is limitation. Anytime you define anything, you make it solid, you make it real, and you put it in its appropriate box in reality for you. And you put it in its appropriate slot in the artificial intelligence system that you're now going to use to perpetrate that definition on you and everyone else in the future. How fun, eh? So, everything that all brought up, do you notice your minds are not really quite able to keep up with the conversation right now? And do you notice you're like, dude, give me something I can define. Give me something I can use. Give me something that allows my mind to know that this is not bad and wrong so I can try to receive it, please. Hey, you're welcome. You were the dummies who joined this call. It's your fault. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroyed and created, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, and I love it. Somebody's like, slower. No, sorry. Do I have anything to do with automatic responder system? Yes. What we used to call automatic responder systems are basically the artificial intelligence systems that run your life. So, and I love it. Monica, who's doing the processes for this, my oracle for this call is like, I have no idea what you just said. I'm sorry. It's like her mind is like, "Ah." So, but in order to be an oracle for me, you must have very little mind to begin with, because I don't do linear very well. Okay, so here's this thing. Artificial intelligence systems are the newest in technology. Actually, they're some of the oldest in technology. It's been around since you were on this place called the Golden Planet 4 trillion years ago, which was the last place you did not have a mind. So, on 12, let's do something so we can have something that's more like the something that we used to have access to, that we have ourselves chosen not to have access to. Let us give ourselves access to that which we have not been able to access, which would actually be more like our being beyond the mind, but I'm not going to define it. Let's give ourselves access to something more like we can actually have access to as beings. On 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. No. Okay, so here's the thing. It's interesting because before this call, and luckily only like a day before, though, that was good. I did a good job. Before this call, I kept like, how am I going to give this? How am I going to, because I've got all this stuff and all these awarenesses and all the, and what I know is that what I do is I have all the awareness and whatever of whatever I have, but getting together with you guys in the presence of what needs to be spoken to energetically is always what really creates the biggest unlocking. I mean, I can have tons of awareness and stuff, but it's like giving you the information in the moment where it can actually be received is the difference. So it was like there was this mind thing that was going on for me for the last day that just was, oh my goodness. And that it combined with the fact that the 9 trannies class starts the day after tomorrow, and that is definitely going to be a beyond mind class, let's put it that way. So there's what happens is before a class like this, or the 9 trannies, or a 7-day, or an SOP, or an ESP, or being you, or a COP, or a foundation, or bars. Oh yeah, all of them. What happens is you start experiencing and exploring the energy of those limitations before you even get there. So if a lot of you have been like, that's appropriate. That's because that's basically what we're here to, so that you can be present with those energies, so that I can get them and everybody else can get them, and we can start changing some stuff. Okay, so if you recognize you haven't been without a mind for 4 trillion years, the fact that you would want to hold on to it, like it's your precious, my precious, would sort of make sense, because you've had this idea, you've had these lies basically, that it is essential to you functioning here. It's actually essential to make sure that you stay in the limitations of this reality. Okay, your mind is essential to keeping you in the limitations of this reality. It does everything it can to make sure you never go outside of the box. So if this is the box of this reality, what your mind is designed to do is keep you in here. And with every point of view you take, with every judgment, with every definition you make, is designed, the artificial intelligence of it is to take those judgments that you've chosen, to take those definitions that you've chosen, and use them to get you to go back and loop back into the box of this reality. That's your mind's job. So, you did to get that job, everything you did to create it, and everything you did to create it so that you have one that's better than the person next to you, and you have one that's better than everybody else on this Zoom. Like my mind is like so much better than yours. I'm like so much aware, so much more aware in creating my mind. Like my mind like kicks your mind's ass. Hello. Like 2 little kids on the school ground is like, my dad is bigger than yours and he'll kick his ass. Fuck. That's what you've been doing with your mind. So everything that is times a God's like just throwing on creatively. Right, wrong, good and bad, fun, fuck, all 9 shirts, boys and beyond. And I like that. Marcel's like the fastest mind. Yes, exactly. And it's a level of pride that a lot of people have because they have it, and I've got this mind that is just, Jesus Christ, man. It is, I mean, you think you got a mind? Me too, okay? I think all of us on this call have probably done what we could to create the greatest mind that has ever existed. So how much energy have you put into creating the greatest mind that has ever existed? And if any part of it, if ever you feel like you're losing your mind or you want to go away or something, you're like, no, I will put more energy into my mind. I will take the energy from my bowels and from my creation, and I will put it into my mind to make sure it never goes away. Everything that is times a gazillion. What you do starting and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. So you can, here's the thing. You can either create your life or you can create your mind. Your choice. Okay. Everything that brought up times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. I like it. It's like, who has the biggest limitation and greatest limitations to show potency? Yes, exactly. Yes, your mind is fast, and no, it is not creative. You, the being. I like that. My mind is cuter than yours. I remember reading that statement in the BARS manual about losing your mind and wasting it, and I was terrified. Or maybe really excited. Yes. What about memory? You need it at some points, like passwords. Yeah, I get that a lot. And I'm not going to say, let me tell you one thing you want to get used to having and acknowledging. It's called CRS, which means you can't remember shit. Okay? Where you forget your pet's name, you forget your mom's name, and when that happens, you just go, I'm so sorry, I have CRS. And they go, what is that? I can't remember shit. And everybody laughs and y'all make a joke out of it. Because really, this thing about remembering is like, get a password manager. Like, for what you need to remember, write it down in your calendar when it is supposed to happen and let it remind you. Get a password manager so that you can remember your passwords. There's lots of good ones out there. And literally stop trying to hold on to your mind so that you can hold on to the banality of this reality. Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. I was so fucking bored until I started to just choose this call, for example, and bam, everything is taken off like a rocket ship. That's the other thing, is your mind stultifies choice. What is stultify? It's like solidifies and slows everything down, like concrete solidifying. Okay? Your mind's job is to stultify choice. And in French, the CRS are policemen. Oh, that's too funny. Somebody said, can entities hide in the mind? Actually, what I'm going to say is, this thing that you think is entities sometimes is actually the artificial intelligence systems that you have created to run your life. I used to have this sense for a very long time, and I asked Gary about it for years and years and years and years and years. I'm like, Gary, is there another entity? Because there are times where I choose that what is just like continuously more and more expansive. And then there are times where I take one step into solid land and it feels like that's my entire set of choices and that's all I will choose. It was actually the artificial intelligence systems that I was functioning from. So how many artificial intelligence systems are you using to create the other you and the not you that you keep pretending is you that you were choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So how many artificial intelligence systems are you using to create the not you, to create the other you and the not you that you pretending is you that you were choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So how many artificial intelligence systems are you using to create the other you and the not you that you pretend is you are you choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so a couple other things. So what part of artificial intelligences have you created that were implanted or explanted into your world with so much force and intensity you can't leave it behind? Everything that is times a gazillion. We just run and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Wow. Holy shit balls, Batman. Okay, so what part of artificial intelligence have you created that was implanted and explanted into your world with such force and intensity you can't leave it behind? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what part of artificial intelligence have you created that was implanted and explanted into your world with so much force and intensity you can't leave it behind? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. One more time. What part of artificial intelligence have you created that was implanted and explanted into your world with so much force and intensity you can't leave it behind? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, some of the questions and things on the chat I'm not getting to right now because I can't make the leap from where we are to there just yet. So what part of artificial intelligence have you created that was implanted and explanted into your world with so much force and intensity you can't leave it behind? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what part of artificial intelligence have you created that was implanted and explanted into your world with so much force and intensity you can't leave it behind? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So all of the lies you're using and all the definitions and all the implants and explants telling you can't leave behind the artificial intelligence systems. And is there actually an out from the artificial intelligence that you know about that you haven't acknowledged? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Dane.
Hold on. So what is the out? Speaking of the in to the artificial intelligence, what is the out of the artificial intelligence systems that you have not acknowledged? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, give me just a sec. For a minute, I'm going to ask everybody to close your eyes, please. And just be with me and receive, please. Okay, you can open your eyes when you're ready. You're welcome. Thank you. I like it. Oh, okay. So the only thing is after doing something like that, talking is a little less relevant in the world. Hmm. So one of the things I'm going to ask you to do is actually tap into that energy whenever, maybe is whenever, I don't know when you'll think about it, but whenever you think about it, or you may want to listen to this call again, maybe a lot of times, and just, or even just pull out that little segment or something. I don't get exactly how, get exactly, I guess I do get exactly how it works. I just can't describe it in words. But it's something that I started doing in sessions recently, and there are really no words to describe it, but it seems to be at least a part of. You're welcome, guys. Thank you. At least it seems to be at least a part of going beyond all this AI stuff that we're talking about. And I can't. It's like there needs to be some entry point, some warm up, something where somebody goes, okay, I'll have this now, before it can actually show up. So, okay. So, I'm gonna take just a second here, or about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm gonna turn off turn off my video and audio, but literally for just like 3 minutes. I need to do something different, kind of do like a reset. And I know me, if I stay on, I'll just keep talking at you. So what I'd like you to do is just, I don't know, whatever shows up, like just get quiet for a minute and explore the universe, or maybe the universe as it can and should and will now be for you. Okay? 3 minutes and I will be back. For the last minute, just explore what the world would be like if you had no mind and no artificial intelligence to owe allegiance to any longer. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Hello. Kind of interesting what you can explore in 3 minutes. But it's interesting because that, without a mind, time no longer has relevance either, which means that you can do in 60 seconds what it takes other people literally a year to do. You can set in motion by your request what it takes other people years to accomplish. So it's, for me, so one of the things I'd like you to explore is like, just imagine you walking along, the street of your hometown without a mind, without a definition of anyone, recognizing your oneness, and you can still perceive where they're not. There you are, and you can receive everything about them that is whatever, judgmental or harsh or unkind, and you can also perceive everything about them that's spacious and kind, and you can perceive where they have this fight between those and are trying to do something different, and they're trying to figure it out to get something different, and it's not figure outable because your mind continuously puts you into the smallest space that it can. It puts you into the most definition that it can. It puts you into the most contraction that it can at all times. So though we have all these beings walking around on the planet that have this spaciousness of being as their very being, as their true reality, they have this mind that they have allowed to be sort of the driver of their choices, rather than them being in the space of choice and the ability to choose. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. So now what I'd like you to do with this space of the possibility of no mind, and though this space is here, what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to choose, and you're going to have to choose to be that. You have the space of it, you have the awareness of it, whether you totally get it or not, or whether your mind is trying to figure out what you just got, or how long it'll last, or whatever. You have that space. Okay, so you have access to that space now. So realize that's a space that will always be there, a space beyond the mind. And now your choices that you have available will allow that to grow as you make choices from there in your interactions with your life and your creations, in your interactions with other people. That's what will allow that to grow. So it's going to be up to you to choose to not use your mind, to not function from the artificial intelligence systems, and to not function from your definitions of everything. And as you do, what will happen is you'll start to realize that you can have space in every situation with every person. Okay? And so this is vital to get, number one, the awareness that this is possible. And number two, this sense of the space of that, like actually getting a few moments of that space of it, or many moments of that space of it, because when you choose from space, you make totally different choices. A choice from space is always an expansive choice. And so a choice from the mind is always a contracted choice. So you're going to be there and you'll realize finally you have choice. And you'll be there in an interaction with somebody and go, oh, you'll want to go into that resistance and reaction. You go, wait a minute, okay. And the thing I suggest doing is going, all the AIs creating that, right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay. For every weird thing that comes up between now and the next call, all the AIs creating that and all the AIs I want to choose from, right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And what will happen is what seemed like a necessary choice that you knew was going to create contraction, but you were going to do it anyway, it'll dissolve. And you'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't have the impetus for that choice anymore. Now, what would I as a being like to choose? If I were truly the spaciousness of being, what would I choose? and use this as a way of starting to allow yourself to have the space of choice that's truly possible. So if we go to that space again of the, because if you'll, the mind, this whole thing about the mind, it's so brilliant because we created it. We took what the techies gave us 4 trillion years ago and went, oh, we can improve on that. Are you kidding? I can do a better mind than anybody else. I'm going to use my awareness to add to it so that I can make sure to continuously limit myself in a better way than anybody else could. Okay. So it's so brilliant because we are the ones who created it, and we are the ones who have the awareness that we added to it. And so, okay, everything that brought up, right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and mountains. But I also have to say, even though that I just said that you didn't have a mind before 4 trillion years ago. It didn't exist. It wasn't, but the techies said, here, you need to do this and this and this. And you went, okay, well, I'm part of hiding consciousness. So I will pretend to be put into this reality. And you allowed yourself to pretend to be put into this reality. And what you did was you created these artificial intelligence systems so you could appear to not have the communion that you had, to not have the space that you have, to not have the space that you could have in any situation. And you're going to have to be the one that gets you to that awareness again in your life. Because literally every situation in your life could have a spaciousness to it that other people in this reality do not understand, that even other people in access would not understand. You have that capacity. Now, everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive it, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And so okay, let's try this. I'm hoping it works. I was going to do it just a little bit earlier, but let's get that space that we were being for those right after I did that thing, and then for the 3 minutes, whatever. Now what I'd like you to do, I had you consider what it would be like to be that as you walk through the street of your hometown and have all these people around, but you just get to still be space no matter what's going on for them. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think of one of the people that kind of activates you a lot, you know, one of those people you don't want to talk to, you don't want to be around, you feel judged, but you know you're being judged by, and you keep trying to figure out how to deal with the situation. What I'd like you to do is be this space, and then you walk into a room where they are, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do, though, is keep the space. Don't try to go into, so all the artificial intelligence systems you've created to deal with them and people like them and situations like them, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Easy for me to say, all the artificial intelligence systems that keep you from having the awareness of dealing with them differently, we destroy and create all that, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. All the artificial intelligence systems that keep you from the awareness that you actually have choice when you're around them and in any situation around them, will you destroy and create all that, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Okay. Now, everything that doesn't allow you to have this space beyond mind, that is actually the freedom of you and the freedom to be you and the freedom to allow them to fail or die or be unhappy as they choose, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Now, what I'm going to have you do is, you've been in a room with them for the last couple minutes, whatever, and we've been processing this stuff. Now I'm going to have you leave them to their shit, whatever they have going on, and keep that space and turn around, walk out of the room and shut the door. Okay? And walk far enough away to where nothing they have going on has anything to do with you anymore. One of the things that's become very present for me is that we have a dynamic level of choice that we are not choosing. It's primarily these artificial intelligence systems that we have put in place. And so we keep trying to go back to that for choice. We keep trying to go back to that for clarity. We keep trying to go back to that for awareness. We keep trying to go back to that for true potency. We keep trying to go back to that for oneness. We keep trying to go back to that over and 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 over again, as though if we just go back with a different space, it's going to give us a different result. But every time you go back to it, it gives you the same limited space, because it will not ever expand into the space that you are. And it will not ever expand into the spaces that you were expanding into. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay, so something's happening. Wish I could explain what it was, but my mind isn't working anymore, so I can't. Sorry. Wow. Okay, so now, we function from this fundamental point of view that we do not have choice. That is created, once again, primarily from the artificial intelligence systems. And what the artificial intelligence system tells you is that you must always have a problem. That the thing that will always be present for you is a problem. Even when you go beyond your limitations, that's got to be a problem. Like the time I was with Gary in Italy, and I had done some major stuff and made some really big choices the night before and felt so light. And then I woke up the next morning and I was sad and depressed. And Gary's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just kind of sad. He's like, and he asked me tons of questions. None of it was changing everything. And as we do, when none of it changes, we turned it 180 degrees. And he went, let me ask you a question. What are you sad about? And I went, oh my God, I'm sad because I lost my limitations. And I realized that that's another thing, the artificial intelligence, that's another thing our mind does, is even when you go beyond the limitation, then you're supposed to create another problem that is, now that I have this problem because I'm beyond my limitations. So then you activate the artificial intelligence to try to solve the problem so that it can bring you back into this reality again. And so you can be brought back into the lack of space. So everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay, and there's some cool input on the chat. What if I never have to think again? Helps to remind me of the space. Cool. And it's like all the limitations I've created come up and there's no way to get out, like being in a capsule. Exactly. And I'm going to give you some things. So you want to pock and pot all the artificial intelligence creating that. And all the artificial intelligence you created that allows it to exist. So pock and pod the AIs. And somebody said, it's like I was trying to take that with me, the AI that isn't me that I thought was. Yeah, exactly. And that's where, because you got to get this, you've had this thing that you thought was your constant companion, but it wasn't a friend. It was a frenemy. It's something you think is a friend that's actually an enemy. And it's an enemy to your being. Now, I wouldn't put it that way, but that's how it shows up, meaning, well, I would put it that way because that's how it shows up. But it's like, I wouldn't be in resistance and reaction to it. I would go, wow, I created my greatest enemy. Fuck. I thought it was outside of me. I thought it was greater than me. I thought all kinds of things about it, whatever you thought. Maybe you thought it was inside of you or whatever, or part of you, or you thought it was you. But you created your greatest enemy. You're the one with the power over it. You're the one that can choose something totally different. Now, when we do the next call, there are some other things that I want to give you that will take this further and allow you to undo even more of that. But if you recognize that you've had this constant companion in this reality that is really the artificial intelligence of how to be here that isn't actually being. So how many jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared for the creation of the AIs? No, as the AIs, the artificial intelligence of how to be here, that is not ever your being, that is not ever your being, that is not ever you truly being, that is not ever your being. That is not ever truly your being, are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay. Let me run that one more time. So how many jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared as the AIs of how to be here that is not ever truly your being, are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay, clearings about AI and body issues. Yeah, how many AIs are you using to create the body issues you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. And how many AIs are you using to continuously create and recreate the body issues you refuse to be losing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. And somebody asked, are there crushed AI systems like Crush? No, but this is even more invasive than that. Is there a way to get rid of all the AIs? Yes, choose. But what's going to happen is when you're in the moment where an AI is running something, you make a different choice, or if you can't seem to make a different choice, you go pock and poddle, the AI is creating this, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond, and then make the different choice. It's like, oh, the insanity ate up my mind and seems more powerful than me, even if I know it's not me. Yep. So how many of you were creators of the AIs? How many of you were creators of the constructs? How many of you were creators of the algorithms? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. I have so much energy, I want to explode. I know the feeling. I have been having that lately also. And I'm like, and what I did though, which was really funny, was I was going, I'm tired. I just want to sleep, blah, 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 blah. I didn't realize that I was having all these AIs and all these definitions of things that I was using to not explode. So how many AIs are you using? Create the not exploding into and as and being you were choosing. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. How many AIs are you using to create the not exploding into as and as being you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. How many AIs are you using to create not, let's just go the not exploding you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. That's actually one of the reasons you created the AIs, is so you would not be a walking, talking explosion of possibilities and joy and creation and ease. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. How many AIs are you using to create the not exploding you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. Oh, baby. How many AIs are you using to create the not exploding you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. I want to do a couple more. So all the AIs that require you to lose your choice to create them, will you destroy and create it, please? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, pock, shorts, boys, and beyond. That process has been so dynamic for everybody I've given it to. So I want you to sort of highlight that one. All the AIs that require you to lose your choice to create them, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So all the AIs that require you to lose your choice to create them, will you destroy and create all that, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Another one you want to have is how many, although that one that we just ran, I think it just so cuts to the chase somehow. So all the AIs that require you to lose your choice in order to create them, will you destroy and create it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So how many AI systems are you using to run the life you are not choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And how many AIs are you using to create a reality that is not of your choosing, but that is your choosing? Are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So how many AIs are you using to create a reality that is not of your choosing, but that is your choosing? Are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now what I mean with that is those are the AIs that you're using to create a reality that is really not of your choosing. It's not you choosing it. You set it up a long time ago to be chosen for you, but it is what you're choosing, but you're choosing to allow the AI to choose for you instead of you choosing. Now, you're going to notice this in your interactions and in the things that you think even. It's not just the choices that you make, like to grab a beer or grab a cup of coffee or grab a water or work out or not work out. It's not just the things that you do. It's the things that you choose in your mind, things that you choose to think, things that you choose to have points of view about. How many of your points of view are AI induced? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. I mean, you learned as a little kid here that you're not supposed to be without a point of view about everything. So how many of your points of view are AI induced? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whew. Okay, so I believe it was Nirmata that had a question ever so long ago.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, good. Hi. So this call is absolutely brilliant. And when you talked about the entire time that the call has been going on, I keep on getting the awareness about all the lifetimes for myself, and I'm sure for many other people on this call, all the lifetimes of being committed to all the metaphysical stuff and how all the different church cults and religions, they go beyond the mind. And if any of that worked, we wouldn't be in this position now. And I'm just wondering about any hardwiring from that we might be able to undo in addition to what we've done, or maybe what we've done will already handle that.
Well, so all the AIs and all the hardwiring you have creating all of that, will you destroy and create all that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And it really is. And how much of the AIs of all of that have you created and then sold to other people that they now spit back to you in this lifetime as though it's real and true because they bought it from you in some other lifetime?
Oh, way
Everything
too many.
times a godzillion, all of you. We just
Yes. Yes.
Right,
Yes.
wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whew.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow. Because when you said, when you see yourself doing it, make a different choice. And in theory, that sounds amazing. And I'm like,
okay, wait. Notice, in theory, notice the energy that came up. For all of you, notice the energy that came up right after Nirmata said that. Okay. So Nirmata, notice that. How much of that is AIs?
All of it.
Yeah. So you have AIs to figure out how you're going to interact with your AIs. Like that energy that comes up, that is AI. So
that's
everything
crazy.
that is, everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Okay, so recognize, guys, that when you go into figuring out right now, it's AIs. Pock and pod the shit out of those motherfuckers. Okay, like literally, even when you go, even when you get off this call and you go, wow, that was an interesting space. I don't think I can. AIs, pock and pod. Okay. Ooh, that was cool. I don't think I, pock and pod. If you go into I think or I don't think I can, pock and pod. Okay, pock and pod all the AI. And then take just a half a second. We realized when we did the 3-minute thing, it doesn't take long. Take just a half a second to go, wait a minute. Okay, I just went into I think, pock and pod. Every time you go into I think, pock and pod. Okay, so your home play between now and the next call is just take a couple more minutes between now and tomorrow to perceive. Well, I'd actually really like you to listen to this call again as soon as possible. So maybe if we can get the audio of the call sent out before the processes, that would be great. If you can. If not, you can listen to the Zoom link thingy. Somebody knows that far better than I do and can explain it to you. But I'd like you to listen to the call again at least once, if not a few times. And when you get to that space where I do that thing, just sit and receive it and let it go even deeper and wider. And also let it start opening up your awareness that you have beyond the AIs and beyond the need to calculate and compute and complicate your reality. And then the other thing is, for everything that comes up, thought, feeling, emotion, whatever, anything, any weird energy, anything less than just total space, pock and pod the AIs, start there. Let that be your starting point right now. And because what I do is I have, like, when we get to new thing, that's usually always my starting point. I pock and pod that and then see if it has a different energy to it. See if it has a sense of space where it didn't before. See if I can choose something. See if choice seems easier now. And I'll pock and pod, I'll do it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times and then go, okay, what now? Oh, cool, I can choose something now. Wow, that just went away. That's different. So let it be one of your new starting points for right now. Until we get to something else. And by the way, we already have something else that I'll be talking to you about tomorrow. But we have to get this sort of space of possibility available and the sort of hammering away at some of these AIs and undoing them, so that the conversation we're going to have tomorrow, which may not even be the conversation I think we're going to have, but so the conversation we have tomorrow can actually go deeper and wider and actually make sense and actually be useful to you rather than just more sort of information thrown against the wall. Okay. So thank you for your question. Okay. Couple other things. What powers the AI? What keeps it functional? Us. We're the only thing with enough power to keep it functional. Now you could look at it and go, oh, the techies did this, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, and it's not getting you anywhere. The only thing that's going to change it is you pock and potting it and you choosing something different, because you're the one powering it. You're the one who created it. You're the one who chose it. You're the one who powers it. Okay? That's because you're so powerful. Even though you have no idea who the fuck you are after this time we've been together today. You're welcome. Okay. What question can I ask with AIs in relation to my love of being right and coming to conclusions? How many AIs am I using to create the indefensible, totally defended me I am choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. AI chooses couples for you or leads your choice of relationship? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Look at the people you've been with in your life. How many of them were primarily because they fit your AIs of the relationship you were supposed to choose? Oh, the joy. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So how many AIs are you using to create the relationships you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. How many AIs are you using to create the relationships you were choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. How many AIs are you using to create the relationships you were choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, has there ever been somebody that you knew was wonderful, but you couldn't choose to have sex or relationship with them because they didn't match your AIs? They were basically what we call a no count. They didn't activate all those little buttons that you have and all the little things that make your body want to light up and be excited and all that. You're like, oh yeah, they're wonderful. Yeah, boring. A lot of times the person you think is boring, unless they truly are boring, okay, some people are just boring. But a lot of times the person you think is boring is actually the person that does not activate your artificial intelligence systems that make you want to go with them so it can contract you again. Okay. So for example, I've got some really good friends that when they got together, you know, they liked each other, but the girl wasn't going to go for the guy because she was like, yeah, I'm not getting nearly enough judgment from him. I'm not very excited. I don't have anything to overcome with him. He just likes me. This is boring. I don't think I want to do it. And Gary said, if you don't do it, you're a fucking idiot. And she went, okay, I'll try it. So they went and had sex and it was amazing. And she was like, oh my God, this is what it's like to have sex with somebody who doesn't judge you. Oh my God. And they have a phenomenal relationship. That's just one couple, by the way. But they have this phenomenal relationship. And had she been functioning from her AIs, she never would have gotten together with him because it was just space. It was like, hi. Now realize that. Realize how many people you met in your life that it's just space and you're like, hi. Well, that's not your AIs. Now, you may attach all kinds of stuff to it after that for whatever AI reason you have decided. But remember, the AIs are always designed to get you to go back into the smallest space possible and the most contracted solidity possible. And so if you're choosing a person or you have all of your little buttons get activated or you get so excited and turned on by a particular kind of person and it always turns out poorly for you or creates less space, you might want to pock and pot all the AIs you're using to choose that. So everything that is times a gazillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Hold on just a sec. Okay. Gary's getting it. Okay, we're good. We're here in Dublin. We're ready. We're ready for the 9 trannies. So, awesome. Okay, so, hey, so is this conversation starting to make sense? Like, and when I say sense, I mean starting to actually get you to awareness rather than trying to figure it all out. And do you notice how even the trying to figure out about the figuring out is less happening right now? Okay, so the thing of getting there to this place and this space is it's something that we have available now. And you got all, it's like, it's interesting because I mean, we worked for 18 years to get to where we could have it be this, where you could step into it. And now here we are, we have this conversation and present some of these spaces and do some stuff that I'm still not going to explain that changes it. And now here it is. And you're like, oh my God, totally different world. So realize and look in your world but without defining it, like what space of a different world is now available? Like, and here's the weird part is so much of it, you'll be like, but I want to define it. I still want to define it. Tell me what this space means. What can I do now? What can I be now? What can I choose now? That's your AIs. Pock and pod those. And when you get so friggin' uncomfortable, you think you want to die, so you'll go back to some form of conclusion. You know, you'll call your mother. You'll call that person you know is not expensive for you to have sex with, but you do it anyway. It's because you're getting so uncomfortable being so undefined, you have to find some way to activate your AIs and go back into your mind so your mind can be in charge again, because your mind is really having a tough time that it's not in charge. You're having a tough time that your mind is not in charge. And you know, if you just call that person, or if you just call your mother, or if you just look at your bank account, or if you just call this person right now, you can go right back into trying to figure everything out and be a tiny pile of shit. How does it get any better and smellier than that? Everything that is times a gazillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I like that. Wow, this is fucking brilliant. I love it. Thank you from the heart and my whole being, not from the mind. It's so happy with that, but fuck this. Thank you. And then I think, there was something about losing your mind that I still attributed to a more complacent state, when actually it really is a more generative state of question. Yeah, and it's a space, okay? And that's what people are also saying in the thing. It's like, it's a space. It's actually a space. And when you have that space, you don't have to bring anything solid into it. You can continuously be that space and choose, not from solidity, not from definition, not from AIs, not from contraction, not from limitation anymore. It's like, oh, kind of something you've been looking for a very, 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 very long time. And I also really would like to say thank you to all of you for being here on this call, for knowing now is the time to actually lose your mind. And also for all those people that did all those classes and participated in them that got us to this place. And the awarenesses that people that have done sessions on gifted me about how to actually get to the space of this, and you guys for willing to have the courage to actually step into choosing more of the space of this. And this is an ongoing thing, in that there will be more and more and more space, more and more and more ease available the more you let this go. And this AI rabbit hole is a pretty deep one, meaning you have layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, but don't bother thinking about those layers. Just notice when you can do what we talked about on this call and let them go. And then just fucking do it. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to make sure you had. So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared, of never revealing everything you know about reality that would change it? Are you choosing? Actually, reality and being and living. No. Oh, and I want to explain this, but let me start again. I apologize. So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared, of never revealing everything you know about reality, being, and living that would change it all? Are you choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what revelations could you expose that you're not acknowledging, that if you expose them would create a totally different reality for all of us? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what revelations could you expose that you're not acknowledging that would create a totally different reality for everyone? That if you acknowledged it, let me try that again. Let me read it. What revelations could you expose that you're not acknowledging, that if you expose them would create a totally different reality for all of us? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What revelations could you expose that you're not acknowledging, that if you expose them would create a totally different reality for all of us? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, my beautiful friends, you're not only vortexing, but something else interesting and fun has been going on for quite a while. So thank you. Also, thank you, translators. You guys are amazing. You rock. Thank you so much. And the lovely and amazing Anne and Monica, or should I say Monica and Anne, since Monica's doing primary on this, my oracles that actually make sure I can get the processes to you. Thank you guys so much. You rock. I look forward to being with you tomorrow. Enjoy the home play as I enjoy you being in the world. Mwah. See you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Dane.
Have fun losing your mind.
See you,